The Hells Angels biker found the little girl cornered outside a decommissioned armory, and his fury rolled through the barracks. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's incredible story. It was a bitterly cold night, the kind where the wind cuts through your clothes and makes every step feel like a struggle. A man in a worn leather jacket and a Hells Angels patch gripped the handlebars of his Harley-Davidson, navigating the empty roads of a desolate industrial area. The roar of his engine echoed off the abandoned buildings, the sound of his bike cutting through the night like a thunderstorm. As the bike sped past a row of dilapidated structures, something caught his attention. A faint sound. A cry for help. The biker slowed down, squinting through the fog and mist that surrounded the area. His instincts kicked in. This wasn't just a random noise. Someone was in trouble. He turned his bike down a narrow, cracked road that led to a rusted, decommissioned armory. It was a place he had passed by countless times, but tonight, it felt different. The building loomed in the distance, its windows dark, its walls covered in graffiti. He knew better than to enter a place like that. But tonight, the noise echoed louder. It was a desperate, broken cry. He stopped his bike and dismounted. The sound was clearer now, coming from the back of the building. A little girl. Her voice, trembling with fear, echoed off the cold stone walls. The biker's heart skipped a beat. As he rounded the corner, there she was, cornered against the back wall of the armory. Her eyes were wide with terror, and her body shook as she huddled in on herself, her back pressed against the rough concrete. She was just a child, no older than 10. Her clothes were ragged, her face streaked with dirt and tears. She was trapped, with nowhere to go, surrounded by the towering structure of the armory. For a moment, the biker stood still, his eyes locked on the girl. He was used to chaos, used to fights, to danger. But this was different. A wave of protectiveness surged through him, stronger than anything he had ever felt before. The girl's eyes met his, and she flinched, instinctively drawing away. Her fear was palpable, like a physical barrier between them. She looked at him as though he were the one who had put her in this position. "Please, don't hurt me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I won't hurt you," the biker replied, his voice soft yet firm. He slowly approached, trying to make himself seem less threatening. He wasn't here to hurt her. He was here to help. But she didn't know that yet. He knelt in front of her, lowering himself to her level. His leather jacket creaked as he moved, the sound seeming to make her flinch again. He could see her hands trembling, clutching at the hem of her torn sweater. The biker's heart went out to her. This wasn't just about saving her from whatever danger she faced. It was about giving her a chance to feel safe, to feel like she mattered. "It's okay," he said gently, trying to calm her. "You're safe now." But the girl wasn't convinced. She didn't trust him. Her eyes darted nervously as she scooted back against the wall, as though trying to put as much distance between them as possible. "Please, I'm not going back there. They'll hurt me," she said, her voice breaking. The biker could hear the fear in her words. It was clear she had been through something terrible, something that had left her scarred, physically and emotionally. His brow furrowed in confusion. "Who's going to hurt you?" he asked softly. But the girl only shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I can't tell you," she whispered. "They'll find me." The biker's mind raced. Whoever had done this to her, whatever she had been through, it wasn't over. And he wasn't going to let it end here. Not like this. Not while she was so vulnerable. His hand instinctively reached out toward her, but she flinched away again, terrified. He hesitated for a moment, then spoke again, his tone reassuring. "I'm not going to hurt you, but you have to trust me. I can help you." He extended his hand once more, this time slowly, cautiously, so she could see he wasn't a threat. "I'll take you somewhere safe." The girl looked at his hand, uncertainty in her eyes. She was scared, no doubt, but there was something about the calm in his voice, the way he held himself, that seemed to give her just a hint of hope. For a long moment, she hesitated. Then, slowly, she reached out, taking his hand. It was a small gesture, but for the biker, it meant everything. This wasn't just another mission. This was something personal. He wasn't leaving her here. Not tonight. I can see the fear in her eyes as she takes my hand. Her grip is shaky, almost as if she's testing whether she can trust me, or if I'll disappear the moment she lets go. I don't blame her. I've been in her shoes before. The world has a way of breaking you down, making you doubt every good intention. We stand in the shadow of the decommissioned armory, the night swallowing us whole. I lead her away from the building, towards my bike. My heart is pounding in my chest. The adrenaline from the confrontation is still high, but something else is bubbling underneath. A protectiveness I didn't expect. I've seen violence, seen people suffer, but something about this little girl makes me want to protect her more than anything else. Are you okay? I ask her softly, though I know she's far from it. She nods, but I can see the fear still written across her face. Her eyes dart around like she's waiting for someone to jump out of the shadows. I try to put her at ease, but the weight of the situation is heavy. She's been through something I need to know. What happened? I ask, hoping she'll open up. She looks down at her shoes, dirt-covered and barely held together by fraying laces. I don't want to talk about it, she whispers. Not yet. I don't push her. I know better than to force someone to relive their trauma. I just nod and continue walking with her toward the bike. The road ahead is dark, only the moonlight guiding us, but I don't feel alone anymore. There's a weird sense of urgency, like I need to get her somewhere safe, somewhere far away from whatever she's running from. We reach the bike, and I help her onto the back, making sure she's steady. I know the ride will be rough. The roads out here aren't kind, especially with the rain starting to fall again. But I need to get her out of here, away from the danger that's still lurking. I start the engine, the rumble of the Harley filling the silence, and we speed off into the night. The wind howls, biting at my face, but I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on her. The girl who's been through hell and back, who's somehow found her way to me. It's almost like fate. I keep my eyes on the road ahead, but my mind drifts back to what just happened. The fear in her eyes, the way she was cornered by those men. It makes my blood boil. Whoever did this to her, whoever thinks they can hurt a child, they're going to regret it. As we ride, I try to keep her distracted, keep her from sinking back into that place of fear. You're safe now, I tell her again, though I'm not sure she believes it yet. The roads are long, winding through the countryside, and the storm is picking up. The rain lashes against us, and the wind bites even harder. I push forward, the engine roaring as we make our way to the garage I've called home for years. It's not much, but it's enough to keep us out of the storm for now. I need to get her inside, get her dry, and figure out what to do next. The rain is coming down harder now, the road slick with water, but I push on. We finally reach the garage, and I pull the bike into the small parking area. I help her off the bike, guiding her inside the warmth of the building. It's not much, just a small place where I work on bikes, but it's safe. I get her a towel and some dry clothes I've kept here for emergencies, anything to get her out of those soaked, dirty clothes. She doesn't speak much, just silently follows my lead. I watch her for a moment, her small frame wrapped in a towel, shivering. Her eyes are still wide with fear, but there's something else there now, something I can't quite place. It's like she's holding on to something inside her, like she's fighting too. Stay strong. You're okay now, I say again, hoping she'll believe me. She doesn't answer, but she nods. Slowly, she walks over to one of the chairs, sitting down gingerly, her hands clutching the edges of the towel like it's the only thing keeping her grounded. I know she needs more than just warmth. She needs to feel safe, to feel like she can trust someone again. I sit across from her, giving her space. I don't rush her. She's been through too much to be forced into anything. After a while, she looks up at me, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't want to go back, she says, her voice shaking. I nod, my chest tightening. You don't have to, I tell her. You're safe here. I don't know how much longer I can keep her safe, but I'll be damned if I let anyone hurt her again. We sit in silence for a while, the storm raging outside, but inside, I know we've both found a small semblance of peace. The night feels long, but I won't let it end in fear. Not for her. Not now. I watch her closely, the silence stretching between us like a heavy fog. She hasn't said much since we got here. She's curled up in the corner of the room, the soft hum of the rain outside filling the space with an almost eerie quiet. I try to focus on fixing up the tools scattered across my workbench, anything to keep my mind occupied. But every time I glance over at her, I see that look in her eyes, the one that tells me she's fighting something. Maybe it's the fear, the kind that doesn't go away easily. Maybe it's something deeper. She's been through something. I don't know what it is, but I can see it in the way she moves, the way she reacts to every little noise. She's not a kid who's just lost in the ring. She's a kid who's been running, hiding from something, someone. And I can't shake the feeling that whatever it is, it's not over. I set down the wrench, taking a deep breath, and walk over to her. You want to talk about it? I ask gently. She doesn't answer right away. Her eyes flicker up to meet mine, and I can see the hesitation. She's holding something back. I sit down next to her, but I keep my distance. I'm not going to force her to say anything. That's not how I operate. I wait, and slowly, like she's weighing each word, she starts to speak. They're looking for me, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know why. I don't know what they want. Her words hang in the air, heavy with the kind of truth that's hard to face. I can feel the weight of it in my chest. Whoever this is, whoever's chasing her, they're not playing around. And I'm not about to let them find her. Who are they? I ask, my voice low. She shakes her head, her hands shaking in her lap. I don't know, she replies, her eyes filling with tears. They never told me. They just took me. And now they're coming after me. It's like a punch in the gut. I don't need to know the whole story right now. I know enough. Someone took her. Someone hurt her. And that someone is still out there. And if they think they can just come for her, they've got another thing coming. I stand up, pacing the small room as the adrenaline starts to kick in. This is bigger than just helping a scared kid. This is about protecting her from whatever's coming next. I don't know who's after her, but I know one thing for sure. They're going to have to go through me. I'm not going to let them hurt you. I say, my voice steady now, my jaw clenched tight. I don't care who they are. I'll protect you. But I need you to trust me. She looks up at me then. The fear's still there. But there's something else too. A flicker of hope. Maybe she's starting to believe that she's not alone. She nods, just barely, like she's too afraid to fully commit. But it's enough. It's all I need. The storm outside is still raging, and the night is getting colder. But I don't care. I've made up my mind. I'm going to keep her safe. I walk over to the small dresser in the corner and grab an old jacket, something warm and sturdy, and hand it to her. Put this on. We need to get moving. She takes the jacket from me, hesitating for a moment before slipping it on. It's too big for her, but it covers her shoulders, gives her a sense of security. I can tell she's still not sure what's going to happen next. Hell, I'm not sure either. But I'm going to get us through this. I check my phone quickly, scanning through messages, anything that might give me a lead on who's after her. There's nothing. That's not good. I know I can't rely on just luck. But I do know one thing. I've got people I can trust. I call up a few of the guys from the club, trying to gather information, trying to figure out what I'm up against. While I wait for the call to go through, I look over at her again. She's sitting by the wall, her knees pulled up to her chest, but there's a little more strength in the way she holds herself now. I can see it. She's been through hell, but she's not broken. She's tougher than anyone gives her credit for. And that's why I'm going to make sure no one hurts her again. The phone buzzes in my hand, pulling me out of my thoughts. I answer it quickly, trying to keep my voice calm. Yeah. The voice on the other end is low, distorted. I know who's after her, they say. My blood runs cold. Who? I ask, my voice low and steady, but the question is like a challenge. I need answers. They're part of something bigger. A gang. They don't take kindly to people running off. My stomach tightens. This is worse than I thought. These guys are dangerous, and they won't stop until they get what they want. Where are they now? I ask, already reaching for my jacket. I'm not waiting around any longer. I have to move. I look over at the girl. She's still watching me, her face pale but determined. She's ready for whatever comes next, and so am I. We're in this together, and no one's going to take her from me. I can feel the tension in the air as the phone call ends. The voice on the other end of the line gave me just enough information to realize how dangerous this situation is. A gang? That's not something I can handle alone. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up as I glance over at her. The girl, still in the oversized jacket, is sitting on the edge of the chair, her legs drawn up close to her chest. She's trying to appear calm, but I can see it in her eyes. Fear, confusion, and exhaustion. I walk over to her and kneel down to her level, my voice softer now, trying to reassure her again. I don't know who these guys are yet, but we'll be ready for them. I won't let them hurt you. She doesn't respond immediately, just looks at me with wide eyes, but there's a small nod. It's barely noticeable, but it's enough for me to understand. She's scared, but she's trusting me. And that's all I need. I stand up, walking over to the corner of the garage where I keep some of my old gear. I pull out my leather jacket, the familiar weight of it settling onto my shoulders as I prepare for what's coming. I grab my keys, and then I look at her again. You ready to move? I ask. She hesitates, but then slowly stands up. She's got that look in her eyes now. She's not backing down. We're in this together. Yeah, she says quietly. We head for the door, and I open it, the chill of the night air hitting us both. The storm is still raging outside, the wind howling and the rain coming down in sheets. The bike is parked just outside the garage, the headlights cutting through the darkness. I walk over to it, glancing at her to make sure she's okay. She's shivering, but she's holding it together. I hand her the helmet, and she puts it on without a word. I hop onto the bike, and she climbs on behind me, holding onto my waist as I start the engine. The sound of the Harley fills the night air, the roar of the engine cutting through the storm as we head out onto the road. I know this area well enough, but I don't feel safe. Not now. Not with whoever is after her still out there. As we ride through the dark streets, I keep my eyes peeled, scanning every corner, every shadow. The rain makes it harder to see, but I'm not letting my guard down. We ride for what feels like hours, the storm showing no signs of letting up. I take a turn down a narrow street, pulling up to a small diner on the outskirts of town. It's a quiet place, no one around, which is exactly what I need right now. I pull into the parking lot, killing the engine as we coast to a stop. I turn to look at her. Stay here for a second, I tell her. I'll be right back. She looks at me, her eyes still wide but filled with a hint of trust now. Okay, she whispers. I get off the bike and head inside, the door creaking as I push it open. The smell of coffee and grease hits me immediately. The warm glow of the diner's lights a stark contrast to the storm outside. I walk up to the counter, where the waitress gives me a quick nod before turning back to the dishes. You got a phone? I ask her. She looks up, eyebrow raised. What's it to you? She replies. I need to make a call. I don't have time to argue. I pull a few bills from my pocket and slide them across the counter. It's important. She eyes the money, then shrugs. Fine. She hands me the phone, and I make the call. It rings for what feels like forever before someone picks up. Yeah, a gravelly voice answers. It's me. I need help. I've got a girl, and she's being hunted. I don't know who they are, but I need backup. The person on the other end is silent for a moment before responding. We'll be there. Stay safe. The call ends, and I hang up, feeling a little bit of weight lift off my shoulders. It's not much, but it's something. I head back outside to the bike, where she's waiting. Her eyes meet mine, and I give her a small nod. We're not alone in this. Help is on the way. She doesn't say anything, but I can tell she's relieved. It's small, but it's enough. We don't stay long. I fire up the bike and start heading out again, this time towards a more remote part of town. I know this place. It's far enough off the beaten path that we might be able to hide out for a while. As we ride through the rain-soaked streets, I can't help but think about everything that's happened. The people who are after her, they won't stop. Not until they get what they want. And that's why I'm not stopping. I'll keep her safe, whatever it takes. I keep my eyes on the road as the rain pours down harder. The wind is picking up, but I don't slow down. I can feel her holding on tighter behind me. The fear's still there, but something else too. Hope, maybe. We're getting closer to the spot I know, a place tucked away in the hills, far from prying eyes. A small cabin hidden in the woods. I've kept it for years, a place where I go when I need to disappear. And right now, it's exactly what we need. The storm is making everything seem darker, more isolated, but that's exactly the point. We need to lay low, get off the grid for a while. The bike hums beneath us, and I can feel the steady rhythm of the engine as we ride through the night. The headlights cut through the downpour, illuminating the winding road ahead, but there's nothing else out here. No cars, no people, just the sound of the rain and the occasional growl of the engine. After what feels like an eternity, we reach the cabin. It's small, rustic, and tucked between the trees. I pull the bike up to the porch, turning off the engine as I stop. The silence that follows is almost deafening. The storm is still raging, but inside the cabin, there's nothing but stillness. I help her off the bike, guiding her up the stairs to the door. I unlock it, and we step inside. The warmth of the place is a relief after the cold, and the smell of old wood and the faint scent of pine fills the air. The fire in the corner crackles softly, casting a warm glow over the room. I lock the door behind us and turn to face her. She's shivering, her eyes wide, scanning the small space like she's still unsure if she's truly safe. I walk over to the small cot in the corner and pull a blanket off it. I drape it around her shoulders. Sit down, I say gently. Get warm. She hesitates, then slowly lowers herself onto the chair, wrapping the blanket around herself. Her hands are still shaking, and I can see the exhaustion in her face. This little girl has been through more than anyone should ever have to endure. Do you want something to eat? I ask, moving towards the small kitchen area. She shakes her head, but I can see she's still hungry. I'm fine, she mutters, though her voice is barely audible. I don't push it. I know she's still processing everything, still trying to make sense of it all. I grab a cup of coffee for myself, taking a long sip. As I sit across from her, I can feel the weight of the situation settling in. We're safe here, for now. But I know it won't last forever. They'll come looking for her, and when they do, I'll be ready. I glance over at her, wondering if she's thinking the same thing. I can see it in her eyes. She's scared, but there's also something else there, something that wasn't there before. Maybe it's trust. She's starting to believe that I won't let anything happen to her. That's all I need. Hey, I say after a moment, trying to break the silence. You don't have to tell me everything right now. But if you're ready, I need to know what happened. Who's after you? She looks at me, her eyes still filled with that fear, but there's a flicker of something else. She's been holding it in, keeping it all locked up, but I can see the hesitation, like she's trying to decide whether to tell me the truth. They're part of a group, she finally says, her voice shaking. They take people. They hurt them. Her words hit me like a punch in the stomach. I've heard rumors about things like this, but hearing it from her, seeing the truth in her eyes, it hits harder than anything else. Why you? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. Why are they after you? She hesitates again, her hands clutching the blanket tightly. I don't know, she whispers. I don't know why they're after me. I don't even know why they took me in the first place. They just did. I feel my fists clenching, anger boiling inside me. Whoever these people are, whatever they've done to her, they've made a huge mistake. And they're going to regret it. I stand up, pacing the small cabin. You don't have to worry about them anymore, I say, my voice hardening. Not while I'm here. We're going to get you through this. I pause for a moment, my gaze lingering on her. She's sitting there, wrapped in the blanket, looking small and vulnerable, but I know better. I know she's tougher than anyone gives her credit for. I'm not going to let them take you again, I add, my voice unwavering. They'll have to go through me first. The words hang in the air, and for the first time tonight, I see a flicker of hope in her eyes. It's small, but it's there. She believes me, and that's all that matters. The storm continues to rage outside, but inside, there's a calm that settles over us. We've got time. Time to figure out our next move, time to plan. And we'll be ready when the storm really hits. I sit by the fire, the crackling warmth a stark contrast to the tension in the room. She's still wrapped in the blanket, her eyes distant, as if she's lost in thoughts she's not ready to share. The storm outside continues its relentless fury, but inside the cabin, there's a strange sense of calm, a stillness. The only sound now is the occasional hiss of the fire and the soft drip of water from the roof, leaking from where the storm's intensity is overwhelming. I glance over at her, my mind racing. She's been through so much, I can see it in the way she looks at me. But she's not talking. Not yet. She hasn't told me everything, and I know that. I also know she's scared. Scared of those people who are looking for her. Scared that if she speaks, it will only make things worse. The weight of that fear sits between us, heavy and suffocating. I can't let her carry it alone. I take a deep breath, pushing my thoughts aside for a moment. You don't have to tell me everything all at once. I say softly, my voice low and steady. But if you can, I need to know. We need to figure out what we're up against. She doesn't respond right away, but I can see her fingers tighten around the blanket. It's like she's debating whether to trust me, whether it's safe to open up. I stay quiet, giving her the space she needs. After a long pause, she finally speaks. Her voice cracks, and she clears her throat before continuing. They're not just some group of people. They're part of something bigger. Something much bigger. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. Bigger? What does that mean? I lean forward, trying to stay calm. What do you mean? I ask, my voice almost a whisper. Who are they? She pulls her knees up to her chest, the blanket falling slightly as she curls into herself. Her eyes meet mine, and for the first time, I see the full depth of her fear. They're after me because of what I know, she says, her voice barely audible. What do you know? I ask, my voice tight with urgency. I don't know much, but I know enough, she says, her eyes darting around the room like she's afraid someone's listening. They. She pauses, her breath shaky. They've been following me for months. I didn't know why at first, but now I do. It's because of what I heard. What I saw. My mind races, piecing things together. What did she hear? What did she see? Whoever these people are, they've been tracking her for a while, and now they want whatever information she has. But that doesn't make sense. Why you? I ask, more to myself than to her. I don't know, she replies, shaking her head. But I think it's because of my dad. He was a part of something. I think he knew more than he was supposed to. And now they're coming for me because of it. Her voice breaks, and she falls silent. Hey, I say gently, reaching out to place a hand on her shoulder. You don't have to say any more if you're not ready. She looks up at me, her eyes wide, tears starting to well up in them. I don't know what to do, she whispers. I don't know how to get away from them. They're everywhere. I don't answer immediately. I just sit with her, letting her words sink in. Whoever her father was, whatever he was involved in, it's much bigger than either of us imagined. It's not just about keeping her safe anymore. It's about making sure those people don't get their hands on whatever information she has. The gravity of the situation presses down on me, but I can't let it show. I have to keep my focus. We'll figure it out, I finally say. But you're not alone. I'm not letting them get you. She looks at me, her gaze searching, like she's trying to find something to hold on to. For the first time since we met, she nods, and there's a flicker of relief in her eyes. We sit in silence for a moment, the weight of the world hanging between us. I know the road ahead won't be easy, but for the first time, I feel like we might actually have a chance. I stand up, moving to the window to peer out into the night. The storm is still raging, but the cabin is quiet, the only light coming from the fire. We need to keep moving, I say, turning back to her. We can't stay here forever, but we'll be ready. I'll make sure of it. I walk over to the small table by the door, checking my gear one last time. I can't afford to take any chances. You stay here, I tell her, my voice firm. I'll take care of things outside. She looks at me, her face still full of uncertainty, but there's something else there now, a sense of trust. She nods, though she doesn't speak. I take a deep breath and step outside, the cold air slapping me in the face as I move toward the bike. I can't let those people catch up to us. Not now. Not after everything we've been through. The storm continues to rage, but I know the calm before the storm is coming. And when it does, we'll be ready. I step outside, the chill of the storm biting at my skin. The rain is relentless, pouring down in sheets as I make my way toward the bike. I can feel the weight of the situation pressing in on me, the urgency of the moment. We can't stay here much longer. Not with those people hunting her down. I tighten my grip on the handlebars, my mind racing as I think about the next steps. The storm is loud, the wind howling, but I'm not distracted. I know what needs to be done. I need to get us out of here, away from the threat. I've got to move fast, no hesitation. I fire up the engine, the roar of the Harley breaking through the storm's fury. It's a sound I've come to rely on, a sound that means freedom. For a moment, it feels like everything else falls away. The storm, the fear, the danger. It's just me and the bike, moving through the night. As I head down the road, I can't help but glance over at her. She's still inside the cabin, watching through the window, her face illuminated by the flickering light of the fire. I know she's scared, but there's a quiet strength in her now. She's been through more than any kid should have to endure, but she's holding on. And that's what matters. I won't let anyone hurt her. I can't. I push the bike harder, the engine roaring as we cut through the rain. The road is slick, and the visibility is low, but I've ridden in worse. The storm isn't going to stop me. It's just another obstacle to push through. I can't let my guard down, not for a second. As we approach the edge of town, I start to slow down, taking a sharp turn off the main road. The path ahead is rougher, less traveled, the kind of place where no one would think to look for us. I pull the bike to a stop in front of a small, dilapidated barn. The wood is weathered, the structure leaning slightly to one side, but it's exactly what we need right now, a hiding spot, a place to regroup. I kill the engine and dismount, moving quickly to the barn's door. It creaks loudly as I push it open, revealing a dark interior. The air smells musty, like old hay and dust, but it's dry. I glance around, making sure there's no one nearby. No one following us. It's quiet. Too quiet. I gesture for her to come out, and she steps out of the cabin, looking unsure but determined. She pulls her hood up over her head, shielding herself from the rain, and walks toward me. Her steps are slow, but she doesn't hesitate. She's learning to trust me, and that's a relief. We head inside the barn, the door closing behind us with a loud thud. I move quickly to the back, where I've stored a few things over the years. A few supplies, just in case. I can't afford to take chances, not with everything at stake. I turn to her, my voice low and steady. Stay here for a minute, I tell her. I need to check something outside. Just stay hidden. She nods, pulling the hood tighter around her face. She's scared, but she's tougher than she knows. I don't want to leave her alone, but I don't have much of a choice. I head outside again, scanning the area as I walk to the edge of the barn. The rain is still coming down hard, but I can feel the air shift. Something's wrong. My instincts are on high alert. I check the road leading to the barn, the way we came in, but there's no sign of anyone. For a moment, I let myself relax. Then I hear it. A faint noise. A car. Tires on wet pavement. My heart races. I turn, running back to the barn as fast as I can. I can't let them find her. I slam the door behind me, locking it with a heavy thud. I turn to her, my voice urgent. They're close. We need to move. Her eyes widen in fear, but she doesn't question me. She's ready. She's always ready when it matters. I grab her hand, pulling her towards the back of the barn, where I know there's a hidden passageway. It's an old escape route, a place I used once when things got too hot. It's our only way out now. The rain outside is still heavy, and the sound of the approaching car is getting louder. I push through the thick, damp wood of the barn, my fingers fumbling for the latch. I pull it open, revealing a small tunnel that leads into the forest behind the barn. The darkness inside is thick, but I know it well enough to navigate it. I pull her inside, shutting the door quietly behind us. We're moving through the woods now, the trees offering some cover from the rain and the night. The air is cold, and the only sound is the crunch of wet leaves beneath our feet. I glance over at her, her face hidden in the shadows, but I can see the fear in her eyes. She's not used to this kind of life, running, hiding, always looking over her shoulder, but she's learning fast. I lead her deeper into the forest, away from the barn, away from the road, and into the unknown. The sounds of the car are distant now, but I don't stop. Not yet. I don't know who's after us, or how many they are, but I do know this. They're not going to find us. Not while I'm here. We push on, the rain still falling around us, but I can feel the strength in her hand, and I know she's not going to give up. Neither am I. I can feel the weight of every step as we move deeper into the woods. The rain has finally started to let up, but the air is thick and damp, clinging to everything. The sound of the forest is all around us. Leaves rustling, branches creaking, the occasional distant hoot of an owl. The world feels quiet now, but it's a quiet that makes my skin crawl. It's too peaceful. I glance over at her. She's walking closely behind me, her footsteps light but steady. Her face is still partially hidden by the hood of her jacket, but I can see the exhaustion in the way she moves. Her body's been through more than anyone should ever have to endure. I know she's scared, but there's something different about her now, something stronger. She's not the same scared little girl from the first time I found her. She's toughening up, piece by piece. We've been walking for hours, but it doesn't feel like we're getting any closer to safety. I know there's a shelter ahead, a cabin I used to use when things got too hot, but it feels like the world is closing in on us. I keep my senses sharp, listening for anything out of place. Every twig snapping underfoot makes my heart race. Every rustling in the trees puts me on edge. I can't afford to let my guard down. Not now. Stay close. I say, my voice low and steady. She nods, but I can see the uncertainty in her eyes. I've been the one leading us so far, but I know she's beginning to question how much longer we can keep running. We both are. We're almost there, I add, trying to reassure her. I don't know if I believe it, but I say it anyway. The truth is, I don't know where we're headed anymore. All I know is we can't stop. I keep moving forward, glancing over my shoulder every few steps to make sure she's still behind me. The storm is over, but there's still that feeling of being hunted, of being chased by something we can't outrun. It's been hours since we left the barn, and every minute feels like it's pulling us further into danger. As we push through the thick brush, I catch a glimpse of movement up ahead. My heart skips a beat. It's fast, too fast to be a person. My hand immediately goes to my side, where the pistol is tucked into my waistband. I stop dead in my tracks, signaling for her to do the same. She freezes behind me, her breathing shallow. I can see the fear in her eyes, but she doesn't say anything. She knows what to do. Stay quiet. I whisper, my voice barely audible. I strain my eyes, trying to make out the movement through the trees. It's a figure, but it's not clear if it's a person or something else. My mind races, trying to process every possibility. It could be someone looking for us, or it could be a wild animal. I can't risk making the wrong call. I take a step forward, slowly, quietly, making sure every movement is deliberate. The figure moves again, closer now. I still can't tell if it's a person or not. My grip tightens on the gun. Just as I'm about to make my move, a voice calls out. It's a low, calm voice, too calm for comfort. You're not as quiet as you think, the voice says. My blood runs cold. It's a man's voice, rough and gravelly. I can hear the smile in his tone, but there's nothing warm about it. He knows we're here. He knows we've been running. My instincts kick in, and I turn to her, grabbing her wrist. Run, I hiss, not waiting for her to respond. I pull her with me, darting through the trees as fast as I can. I can hear the man's footsteps behind us, but they're not as fast as ours. We have a head start. I can't risk looking back. I focus on the path ahead, using the trees to shield us from view. The cabin isn't far now. We just need to get there. We break through the trees and see the outline of the cabin in the distance. It's a small, secluded place, just like the barn. But we don't make it to the door before I hear the man's voice again, closer this time. You can't outrun me. I push her ahead, urging her to keep moving. My hand moves to the gun at my side, ready for whatever comes next. The cabin door is just a few feet away. We're almost there. We're almost safe. Then, I hear the crack of a twig, and I know he's too close. I look over my shoulder for just a second. It's enough to see the shadow of the man behind us, moving quickly. We're out of time. Inside. Now, I shout, my voice sharp. She doesn't hesitate. She's already running for the door, her hands fumbling for the handle as I fire a shot into the air. The sound rings out, loud enough to echo through the trees. I see her slip inside, and I follow right behind her, slamming the door shut behind us. We're inside. For now. I move quickly, checking all the windows, making sure we're not exposed. The cabin is dark, the only light coming from the small lamp on the table. I look at her, and I can see the fear still in her eyes, but there's something else there now. A little bit of relief. We're safe, for the moment, but I know it won't last long. Not with them out there. I slam the door shut behind us, my heart racing, the sound of the lock clicking into place echoing in the small, dark cabin. We're inside. For now, we're safe. I turn to her, the adrenaline still coursing through my veins. She's standing by the window, her eyes wide, her breath coming in shallow gasps. Her body is tense, still on edge, but there's a small flicker of relief in her eyes. We made it here. We're not out of danger yet, but we've bought ourselves some time. I move quickly to the windows, checking each one, making sure they're secure. The wind is howling outside, but there's an eerie silence now, a heavy stillness that makes every sound feel magnified. I turn back to her. Stay here. I tell her, my voice firm. I'm going to check the perimeter, make sure we're not followed. She nods, but I can see the hesitation in her eyes. She's scared, and I don't blame her. This is the closest we've come to being caught. The door might be locked, but I know that doesn't mean we're safe. The people chasing us are relentless. They won't stop until they get what they want. I move to the back door and slip outside, my boots crunching softly on the damp ground. The night is dark, the moon hidden behind thick clouds, but I can feel the presence of the storm still hanging in the air. The woods are quiet, but that only makes me more nervous. I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched. Every step feels like it could be our last. I circle the cabin, checking for any signs of movement, any footprints in the mud, any broken branches that might indicate someone's been here. But the forest is undisturbed. The silence is unnerving. I stop at the edge of the trees, my eyes scanning the darkness, listening for any sounds. The wind rustles the leaves above me, and for a moment, I think I hear something. Footsteps, soft but deliberate. My hand instinctively goes to the gun at my side, my grip tight. But there's nothing, just the wind. I stand there for a moment longer, trying to calm my racing thoughts. I know I can't keep looking over my shoulder. I need to focus on the here and now. I take a deep breath and head back to the cabin. When I walk through the door, she's still at the window, her eyes scanning the darkness outside, waiting for any sign that someone is coming. She doesn't turn around when I enter, but I can see the relief in her posture. Nothing, I say, my voice low. We're good for now. She nods, though I can tell she doesn't believe it entirely. It's not that easy. We both know that. But we've made it this far, and that's something. What happens now? She asks quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. I glance at her, knowing what she's really asking. What happens next is uncertain. We've been running, hiding, for so long, and I don't have the answers. But I do know this. As long as I'm here, I'll protect her. No matter what it takes. Now we wait, I say. But we're not staying here long. I'll figure out our next move. She looks at me, her eyes filled with uncertainty, but there's trust there now, too. She's starting to believe that I can keep her safe. That's all I need to hear. I'm not going to let them get you. I add, my voice firm. You're safe here for now, but we need to be ready to move again. When the time comes, we'll be gone before they know what hit them. She doesn't speak, but I can see the tension leave her shoulders. For a moment, we both just stand there, the weight of everything that's happened pressing down on us. I know it won't be long before we have to leave again, before we have to run. But for now, we're safe. And that's enough. I sit down in the chair by the fire, the flames crackling softly, casting long shadows against the walls. I know we can't let our guard down. I can't let my guard down. But I also know that we've got time to plan, time to figure out what's next. The storm outside is fading, but the storm inside me is just beginning. I can't keep running forever, but I will keep her safe. I don't care what it takes. We'll survive this. Together. I wake up to the soft glow of morning light filtering through the cracks in the cabin's wooden walls. The storm from last night has passed, but the heavy weight of everything that's happened still hangs in the air. I sit up, rubbing my eyes, trying to shake off the lingering fatigue. The world outside seems quieter now, the sounds of the forest almost peaceful in comparison to the chaos of the past few days. But I know better than to let my guard down. I look over at her. She's still asleep on the cot across the room, curled up under the blanket. She looks smaller now, more vulnerable than when we first met. But I can see the strength in her too. The way she's holding herself, the way she's not letting fear completely take over. I have to keep reminding myself that she's just a kid, but she's been through more than most adults ever will. I stand up and walk over to the small window, peering outside. The forest is still wet from the rain, the ground soft and muddy, but everything seems calm. Too calm. I know it won't last. They'll come looking for us. It's just a matter of time. The thought makes my stomach turn. But there's no turning back now. I've made my choice, and I'm not letting her face this alone. The cabin is quiet as I move around, checking my gear. My mind races as I go over our options. We can't stay here. Not for long. I need to figure out where to go next. But the longer we're here, the more risk there is. I can't put her in more danger. I hear her stirring behind me, and I turn to see her sitting up on the cot, rubbing her eyes. She looks exhausted, but there's something else in her gaze now, something stronger, like she's starting to accept the reality of everything that's happening. Morning, I say, my voice low. She gives me a small, tired smile, but it's enough. Morning, she whispers. She stands up slowly, stretching her arms over her head. She looks around the room for a moment before walking over to the small stove, where I've left some water heating. The quiet hum of the forest outside seems to seep into the cabin, and for a moment, it feels like everything could go back to normal. But I know better. Normal is long gone. We need to keep moving. I tell her, my voice steady. I've been thinking about where we can go next, but we can't stay here much longer. We need to be ready. She looks at me, her eyes searching, like she's trying to read my thoughts. I don't blame her. I'm not sure what comes next either. I know, she says quietly. But where can we go? How do we even stop them from finding us? Her voice wavers slightly, but there's a resolve in her that wasn't there before. She's starting to understand the gravity of the situation, but she's not backing down. I don't know yet, I admit. but I'll figure it out. We'll keep moving, stay one step ahead. I can see the uncertainty in her eyes, but she doesn't say anything. She just nods, like she's decided to trust me. I'm not sure how much longer we can keep running, but I won't let her down. The fire from last night has burned out, and the cabin is cold now. I pull my jacket on and walk over to the door. The air outside is fresh, the smell of wet earth filling my lungs. It's a beautiful morning, but there's no peace for us. Let's go, I say, my voice low. She follows me without a word, her steps quiet as we step out into the woods once more. The ground is slick with the remnants of last night's rain, but we keep moving forward. Every crack of a twig underfoot makes me tense. Every distant rustle of leaves puts me on edge. I keep my eyes scanning the surroundings, looking for any sign of danger, any sign that they're getting closer. We move through the trees, and I can feel the weight of every step. There's no turning back now. We're committed to this, for better or worse. As we walk, I try to keep her calm, but I can see the fear in her eyes. She's scared, and she has every right to be. But she's also starting to see the strength in herself, the strength she didn't know she had. I glance over at her as we walk. You're doing great, I tell her, my voice steady. She looks up at me, her eyes softening slightly. I just want it to be over, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't have an answer for that. I want it to be over too, but I can't make promises I can't keep. All I can do is keep her safe for as long as I can. We walk for hours, the silence between us comfortable now, though I know it won't last forever. I have to keep moving, keep her moving, keep us one step ahead. But I can't shake the feeling that we're running out of time. We need a plan, and we need it fast. The woods seem endless, but I know there's a way out. I just need to find it. We'll figure this out, I say, my voice firm. We'll make it through. I don't know if I believe that myself, but I say it anyway. For her, I'll believe it. For now, that's all I can do. I wake up to the sound of birds chirping outside. It's a stark contrast to the chaos we've been living in. I sit up, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. The forest outside is peaceful now, but I know that peace is temporary. We've been on the run for days, and it feels like we're only getting deeper into the woods, both literally and figuratively. I glance over at her, still curled up on the cot across the room. She's asleep, her body finally resting, though I know it's a restless sleep. The nightmares probably won't let her sleep easy. They never do after something like this. I stand up and walk over to the small window, peering through the cracks in the wood. The morning light is starting to filter through the trees, casting long shadows across the forest floor. It's quiet. Too quiet. I feel like we're being watched, even if I can't see anyone. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up as I turn away from the window. I can't afford to get comfortable here. The people who are after us won't stop, and I need to find a way to keep us one step ahead. The longer we stay here, the more likely it is they'll find us. I head to the stove to heat up some water. I need to keep my mind busy, keep thinking about the next move. I can't afford to stop. Not yet. I glance at the door, checking the lock one more time, making sure it's secure. I don't know how much longer we can hide in these woods, but I know we need a plan. A good one. I hear her stir behind me, and I turn to see her sitting up on the cot, rubbing her eyes. Morning, I say softly, trying to sound more confident than I feel. She looks up at me, her face tired, but there's something else there too. Something that wasn't there when we first met. Morning, she replies, her voice quieter than usual. I can see it in her eyes. She's scared, but she's starting to understand what needs to be done. We both are. We can't keep running forever. We need to fight back. We need a plan. I hand her a cup of water, and she takes it from me without saying a word. We both sit in silence for a few moments, the weight of everything hanging between us. I know she's thinking the same thing I am. What happens next? Where do we go from here? I can feel the tension in my chest, the urgency to move, to get us out of this situation. But I also know that rushing into a decision without a plan will only get us caught. We need to find a safe place, I say, breaking the silence. Somewhere we can lay low, somewhere they won't find us. She looks at me, her eyes narrowing in. Thought. But where? They've probably already searched everywhere by now. How do we even know we're safe anywhere? Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. She's right. The people who are after us won't stop until they get what they want. And they're resourceful. They'll search high and low. But we don't have the luxury of waiting around. We need to move. We need to stay ahead of them. I say, my voice steady, though I don't feel steady inside. We can't afford to stay in one place for too long. But I know people who can help. We just have to get to them first. She nods slowly, processing what I've said. There's no question in her mind now. She's in this with me. I can see it in the way she holds herself. She's not backing down. When do we leave? She asks, determination in her voice. I can see the shift in her. She's not the scared little girl I found in that alley anymore. She's stronger now, and I'm proud of her for that. As soon as we can, I reply, getting up to gather my things. We need to move fast. No more waiting around. I look at her one last time, making sure she's ready. She stands up, grabbing her jacket and pulling it on. There's no hesitation now. She's with me, and I know we'll make it through this together. Let's go, I say, my voice firm. She nods, and we head out into the woods. The only sounds now are the crunch of the leaves under our feet and the occasional rustle of the trees as the wind moves through them. We walk for miles, the weight of the journey settling in with every step. The forest is dense, but I know the way. I've been here before, but this time, it's different. I'm not alone. I glance over at her, her face set with determination. She's tougher than I gave her credit for, and I can see she's starting to believe we can make it out of this alive. I'm starting to believe it too. We keep moving, our pace steady, but every time I hear a noise behind us, my heart races. We can't afford to be caught. Not now. Not when we're this close. We move in silence, our breaths coming out in short puffs in the cool morning air. We're making our way to a place where we can finally rest. A place where we can regroup, figure out our next move. But even as we walk, I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched. We're not safe yet. Not until we're far away from here. But we're getting there. Slowly. Surely. I feel the weight of the situation more than ever now. The further we go, the less certain I am of where we'll end up. But there's no turning back. We've come too far. I glance over at her, and I can see the determination in her eyes. The way her posture is a little straighter than it was when I first found her. She's stronger now. But there's still that lingering fear, the uncertainty of what's ahead. I can feel it in the way she moves, the tension in her shoulders, the way she keeps looking around. The weight of it all is pressing on both of us. We keep moving through the thick forest, the trees casting long shadows as the sun begins to set. It's a strange sense of calm out here in the woods, a sharp contrast to the chaos that's been chasing us for days. The sound of our footsteps crunching on the dry leaves is the only noise breaking the silence. I try to ignore the growing feeling that we're being watched. I know better than to get comfortable. The people chasing us won't stop, and I can't afford to slip up now. Every few minutes, I check the trail behind us, but there's no sign of anyone. At least, not yet. It's not safe to assume we're alone. Not until we're miles away from the danger. I glance back at her, still walking behind me, the hood of her jacket pulled low over her face. You good? I ask, my voice steady, though I don't feel steady inside. She nods, but I can see the strain in her expression. She's tired, but she's not showing it. Not yet. Yeah, just tired, she admits, her voice soft. I don't say anything. She doesn't need me to tell her to keep going. She already knows. We keep walking, the evening air growing colder, the sun dipping lower in the sky. The shadows stretch longer, and I know we're running out of daylight. We need to find a place to hunker down for the night. We can't keep pushing ourselves this hard, not without rest. I spot a small clearing ahead, a break in the trees. It looks like a good spot to stop for a while. We've got maybe an hour of daylight left, and that's pushing it. We can't afford to take any chances. Let's stop here, I say, turning toward the clearing. She follows, her footsteps light on the damp earth. When we get to the center of the clearing, I set my bag down and look around. It's quiet, too quiet. My instincts are screaming at me that something's off, but I can't pinpoint what it is. I brush the feeling aside, focusing on making sure we're safe for the night. Stay close, I tell her, my voice low as I scan the area. She doesn't need to be told twice. She stays close, watching the surrounding trees, her eyes darting around as if she's expecting someone to jump out at any moment. I can see how much the fear has settled in her, how the constant running has worn her down. But she's still here, still fighting. That's what matters. I start to set up a small campfire, gathering dry twigs and leaves, trying to be quick. The fire crackles to life, throwing flickering shadows across the trees. It's not much, but it's enough to give us warmth. I sit down beside her, the heat from the fire comforting, but it does little to ease the tension in my chest. We can't stay here long. We can't afford to get too comfortable. We'll rest for the night, I say, trying to keep my voice calm. But in the morning, we move. We need to get to a place where they can't find us. She nods, but I can see the exhaustion in her eyes. She's trying to hold it together, but I know she's not okay. Neither of us is. I know, she says quietly. I just want to feel safe again. Her words hit me like a punch in the gut. I've been telling her we'll be fine, that we'll get through this, but I can't make that promise. Not yet, but I'll do everything in my power to make sure she's safe. I just need to figure out how. I stare into the fire, the flames dancing in front of me. My mind races, running through every plan I've ever had, every way out I've ever used. But none of them feel right. Not for her. Not for us. The sound of the forest around us feels too loud now, too close. Every rustling leaf, every snap of a twig, sends a jolt of fear through me. I know we can't keep running forever. Eventually, we'll have to face whoever is after us. But for now, we need to keep our heads down, stay hidden. Tomorrow, we'll keep moving. We'll keep moving until we can find somewhere safe. We'll get through this. I say again, this time more to myself than to her. She doesn't say anything in response, but I can see the slight nod of her head. She believes me. At least, I hope she does. The fire flickers low as the night deepens, and the forest feels quieter now, the only sound the crackling of the flames and the soft rustle of leaves in the wind. I glance over at her again, her face illuminated by the firelight, her eyes closed as she tries to sleep. She looks so young, so vulnerable. And I know, deep down, that I can't let anything happen to her. I can't let them take her away. Not while I'm still breathing. I settle down beside her, the weight of everything settling on my chest. We're not safe yet, but I won't stop fighting. Not until we are. The morning arrives quietly, the sun barely creeping over the horizon, casting a faint light through the trees. The forest feels different today, almost serene, as if it's holding its breath. I wake to the sound of birds calling in the distance, the faint rustle of leaves in the breeze. The fire from last night has long burned out, leaving only a few embers glowing faintly in the cold air. I get up slowly, not wanting to wake her just yet. She's still asleep, curled up tightly in the blanket by the fire, her chest rising and falling with each steady breath. The last few days have been a whirlwind of fear, uncertainty, and running, but in these quiet moments, I allow myself to hope, just for a second. I know it won't last, that the danger isn't gone, but for now, it feels like we have a chance. I check the area around the cabin, making sure we're still alone. The woods are as quiet as they've been for the past few days. The rain has stopped, and the path is clear for the moment. We've stayed here long enough, though. We can't afford to waste any more time. I turn back to look at her, watching her sleep for a moment longer. I can see how much she's changed over the course of this journey. The fear in her eyes replaced with a glimmer of something else. Determination, resilience. I know she's scared, but she's stronger than she was when I first found her. The thought gives me a strange comfort, and I feel a renewed sense of responsibility to keep her safe. I walk over and kneel beside her, gently shaking her shoulder. Hey, we need to go, I say softly. She stirs, her eyes fluttering open, and she looks up at me, still groggy from sleep. She blinks a few times, trying to focus, and then slowly nods, rubbing her eyes. I'm awake, she murmurs, sitting up and pulling the blanket around her shoulders. She's still exhausted, but she doesn't complain. She gets up, moving more deliberately now, the fear that once gripped her now replaced with the quiet determination to keep going. You okay? I ask, watching her gather her things. She looks at me, her face serious. I'm okay, she says quietly, but there's a sadness in her eyes that I can't ignore. I know what she's thinking. We're not out of danger yet. I wish I could promise her that everything's going to be okay, that we'll make it through this. But the truth is, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to make it out of here, but I can't let that thought consume me. Not when she's counting on me. Not when I've promised her that I won't let anyone hurt her. We start walking, the forest around us quiet except for the sound of our footsteps on the damp ground. The air is thick with the scent of wet leaves, and the world feels a little more alive now that the storm has passed. But I know we can't stay here forever. The moment we stop moving is the moment they'll catch up to us. We keep going, the path winding through the trees, but I can't shake the feeling that we're not alone. Every sound in the woods makes me jump. Every rustle in the bushes has me on edge. I glance over at her, but she's quiet, her face set with determination as she keeps pace beside me. She's scared, but she's pushing through it, just like I am. We walk for hours, the forest growing denser, the shadows lengthening as the sun climbs higher in the sky. I'm constantly scanning the area, my senses on high alert. But there's still no sign of anyone following us. Not yet. I know we can't keep running forever. We need to find a way to fight back, to make sure we don't just end up as another story, another victim. We need to figure out where to go next, I say, breaking the silence. We can't stay here for long. We need to get to the safe house. She nods, her face pale, but there's something in her eyes that tells me she's ready. She's not the same scared kid I found in that alley anymore. She's grown up, in ways I never expected. I don't know how much longer I can keep running, she admits quietly. I glance at her, my heart tightening. I wish I had the answers, but I don't. All I can do is keep moving, keep pushing forward. We'll keep moving, I say firmly. We'll make it. We just need to get there. She doesn't say anything in response, but I can see the trust in her eyes. She believes me. For now, that's all I need. The day drags on, the weight of everything pressing down on us. We reach the edge of the forest, and I can see the outline of a small town in the distance. It's not much, but it's a place where we can blend in, where we can rest for a little while before we figure out our next move. I stop, looking over at her. We'll stay here for a bit, I say. It's not much, but it's better than being out in the open. She nods, her eyes scanning the town as if she's trying to assess it, trying to figure out if it's safe. We walk towards the town, my heart in my throat as I glance over my shoulder one last time. I don't know what comes next, but I do know one thing. I'm not going to stop fighting until she's safe. I don't care what it takes. I'll protect her, no matter the cost. Together, we'll find a way to survive this. And for the first time in days, I let myself believe that maybe, just maybe, we'll make it out alive. Immerse yourself in the gripping world of Hell Angel stories, where danger, loyalty, and unexpected bonds are tested at every turn. This narrative delves deep into the harrowing journey of two individuals on the run from a dangerous gang, navigating a web of secrets, betrayal, and survival. As they fight to stay one step ahead, the stakes grow higher, and the line between friend and foe blurs. This story is not just about survival. It's about finding strength in the most unlikely places and discovering that sometimes the greatest battles are fought within. With a relentless pace and high tension, Hell Angel stories like these keep readers on the edge of their seats, craving more with every twist and turn. The journey of survival and protection continues as the two protagonists fight for a future beyond fear, echoing the tough choices and dark moments that are so iconic in Hell Angel stories. The narrative explores themes of trust, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of those caught in the crossfire of an unforgiving world. As their journey unfolds, secrets begin to unravel, and the truth behind their relentless pursuers comes to light, making this tale a must-read for anyone intrigued by the raw, emotional, and thrilling world of Hell Angel stories.